Hey everyone, coming at you with a video today about winter, extreme weather, winter driving conditions and things preparatorily that you can do for your vehicle, should have for your vehicle, things like that. The weather is pretty crazy right now all over the country, and I know a lot of my friends in the South are not used to this, whether it's just way worse than they've ever experienced before, or they've just never experienced this before, or if you're a younger driver here in the north where I live, you're just not used to these conditions, and a couple of tips and things like that are going to be very useful for you when being out on your own and on the road now. It's about minus 20 Fahrenheit out here right now. At night here it's supposed to hit about minus 35 Fahrenheit. Last night it was about minus 30 Fahrenheit. It's not a record for us. Polar vortex of 2018, we hit minus 55 Fahrenheit at night, and that's with wind chill, which is deadly cold. You do need to protect your eyes when it is that cold with sunglasses or goggles to keep the wind off of them. Also try to reflect a little bit of heat back in your eyes, because you can damage them otherwise and they can freeze. So it can be a dangerous thing, but just for general winter weather conditions and driving, there's some things to consider. First off, with your vehicle, check your tires. Tire pressure is an important thing. The colder it gets, every 10 degrees or so, you're losing about 2 psi in your tires, if not a little bit more. And you need to check the tread of your tires to make sure that they're sound for road use. I know a lot of people in the South particularly run their tires pretty bald. You can't do that in winter conditions. You will have accidents. Apart from that is just driving conditions and driving techniques in general. You need to drive defensively and slow. If you're driving 45 in a 40 mile per hour zone in general, which you shouldn't be speeding, but that's usually the grace period bracket of allowable speeds with driving, in snowy winter conditions, you're probably going to want to go 35 instead of 40. Generally, you want to go about 5 miles per hour to 10 miles per hour slower than you normally would, especially if you're not used to those driving conditions. With braking and accelerating, you need to feather it. You need to feather your acceleration and your braking, and feather pumping them. You don't want to slam on your accelerator or your brakes. That will cause you to spin your tires, and you can brake and lose traction even with anti-lock brakes, and you can start sliding. So you need to be feathering and slowly pumping your brake and acceleration. When you're stopped and moving forward at a green light to accelerate in those conditions, slowly feathering with the accelerator to make sure that your tires are getting traction and you're not just spinning them. If you are to start sliding, so say your rear end starts kicking out to the right, you want to turn the wheel to the right to work into that. Let off your acceleration, let off your gas completely. You'll start straightening back out and correcting. You need to stay in control of your vehicle. And again, lightly feathering your brake as well. Otherwise, you'll start spinning out and you're going to start sliding all over the place. So you need to be very, very much cognizant of your vehicle and in control of your vehicle at all times. On the highway, do not use cruise control in these conditions. Cruise control, if you hit a patch of ice or snow or whatever, a slick spot, cruise control can cause your tires to lose traction, and you'll start spinning and you'll have a spin out and go into the ditch or whatever, have an accident. So you need to avoid that. Cruise control is not good on the highway in snowy and icy conditions. The other thing is, with highway driving, again, you need to go a little bit slower too. You do. If it's 65, go 55. Okay, you really, or 60, you don't want to be going at that speed, especially if there's a lot of stuff on the road that you're not used to driving on. That way you maintain control of your vehicle and you have control again of your acceleration and whatnot. If you start losing grip or start sliding, you let off that accelerator. Do not stomp on it, okay? Don't instinctively stomp on the brake either, okay? Again, don't do that. Moving on, things about your vehicle, things that you need to do precautionarily. So something I recommend, and they don't really have these in the South, is to have an ice scraper and ice brush to clear off your windows, lights, and mirrors of your vehicle. Even up here in the North, people don't clean off their rear windows on their vehicles, And you can get pulled over and get a ticket for that, but it's also, you're setting yourself up to have an accident because you don't have clear field of view out of your vehicle. You can order those online. I know they don't sell them in the South, really. You can order those online and they'll ship them to you. So that's something you should have in your vehicle. Regarding your car battery, jumper cables in your vehicle is good to have, but when it gets this cold, it just kills batteries. So if you need to, take the battery out of your vehicle, take it inside and warm it up so that you get some of those cold cranking amps back. That's what helps start your vehicle, and that's essential to get your vehicle started in these conditions. Sometimes having a little bit stronger battery with a little more cold cranking amps of what is normally in your vehicle is actually good to have. That's something I recommend. We do that often up here with truck and tractor batteries and things like that. So that's another good thing to have and take into consideration. Another thing is having a shovel in your vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's a snow shovel or not, just have a shovel in your vehicle because you're inevitably going to have to dig yourself out of your parking spot, out of your driveway, whatever it is, or if you do get stuck out on the road, you have something to help dig yourself out. Along with that, have a bag of sand or cat litter. This is going to help, you put it in front of your tires, your drive tires, to help get traction, to get moving again. Salt is good too, but that only melts snow, that doesn't give you a lot of traction. Okay, so sand or cat litter. Additionally, with sand and cat litter, that's weight that you can have in your vehicle, especially on the over the rear axle area of your rear tires, to help with more downward weight pressure to keep traction of your tires on the ground. So have some of that in your vehicle as well. Other items that I recommend, apart from the shovel and the ice scraper and things like that, jumper cables and the sand or cat litter or whatever, personal items, a phone charger for your phone, and make sure your phone is charged before you get in your vehicle to head out. A little bit of food and water, you're going to want to bring that with you from inside to your vehicle. Don't leave that outside in your vehicle overnight. Bottles of water will freeze. They're not really going to be any good to you when they're frozen. So bring them with you. Also a blanket or a sleeping bag, just in case you do get stuck somewhere for a period of time. You at least have that as a survivable tool. Also hand warmers, disposable hand warmers, you can buy those, you can order them online. They're good for sticking in your shoes as well as using for hand warmers to warm you up as well. With your vehicle and starting it up in these conditions, if it's not terribly cold, freezing 32 Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever, your vehicle should start okay. But you're going to need to let it warm up a little bit before you start going anywhere. Those fluids need to warm up and start circulating a little bit. When it gets as cold as it does here, you're going to be warming up your vehicle for a much longer period of time, anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes. You use more gas in general in the wintertime anyway, and it is harder on your vehicle, but this is something you need to be cognizant of. Also, when you're running and when you're warming up your vehicle, don't leave your vehicle unattended, and don't lock yourself out of your vehicle. I've had a couple of neighbors here lately who have locked themselves out of their vehicles. Thankfully, again, I'm a security professional, things like that. I have some tools in my vehicle to be able to help people open their car doors and deal with lockouts. Sometimes though, if I'm not able to help, or I'm not there or whatever, and nobody's there to help you either or whatever, don't lock yourself out of your vehicle. Keep your key fob or spare key with you at all times. Also have towing service. They also do lockouts, but towing service on speed dial and your insurance. Everyone should have insurance. Most, if not every place now by law, you have to have insurance to be on the road. So, other precautionary things to do and have there. Other ancillary things. Road flares are good. Some vehicles have road flares in them. Check the date, make sure they're not expired. They'll still generally work, but you can go exchange those out at an auto parts store, either for replacements or a discount on replacements when you bring those in. Other things, emergency triangles, the little pop-up triangles that you can set up, a reflective vest, things like that for emergency signaling and stuff like that. Those are good to have as well for emergency items. Apart from these other things, food, water, and all that. If you want to carry a little extra gas and a little bit of extra fluids for your vehicle, coolant, oil, things like that, go for it. Keep them in your trunk. Those can be useful, especially if you know your vehicle is leaking or burns a little bit of fluid or whatever it is. But it's just good to have that stuff anyway. But yeah, that about covers a lot of what I wanted to cover with this when it comes to winter conditions, driving, and preparations for your vehicle and things like that. So just make sure you're bundling up, wearing layers and appropriate clothing. Wool is still king in the winter, but you know, polar fleece is good too and all that. Wool socks, footwear. Try to have waterproof footwear or Gore-Tex lined footwear, something like that. A lot of people don't. I get it. But just do things to keep yourself warm. Again, why I mentioned the hand warmers and stuff and stuffing them in your shoes to keep your feet warm. And also protective stuff for your hands and your face and things like that. A scarf, glove liners, gloves, that kind of stuff. You need to keep yourself warm and whatnot, as well as taking care of your vehicle. And again, driving defensively, being smart on the road, and understanding what the conditions are and how to handle them. Okay, so that's why I threw a lot of those pointers out there. Share this around with your kids, with people you know that have not experienced this kind of thing before, younger people who are just starting to drive and are dealing with winter conditions. All my friends in the South, share this around. Hopefully there's some useful stuff in here for you. And I've been driving in these kinds of conditions my whole life. I enjoy it and I'm used to it, but a lot of people are not. Whether they're not experienced or they've just never dealt with this before. So please be safe on the road, be smart, and drive defensively on the road, okay? And everybody, enjoy the rest of your week here. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out on the roads. And until the next one, metal up, out.